G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. Now today I have been doing or trying to do this sort of opalesque effect. Now this one, I really like this one. I don't really like the lines I put, but I do like the opalesque kind of look that I got in there. And I did that with the druzy edge. Even though it's upside down, I just wanted to see what it would look like because the top is the top, not the other side with that particular mold. But anyway, so this one was done with cellophane. I do like that effect. This one, yeah, dislike the gold lines that I put on top. That was a mixture of cellophane and holographic vinyl with the druzy edge. So still not quite right. And then I was playing around. Look, I didn't video this one. I was just playing around to see what sort of effect I could get. And this is my rock edge coaster, this one here. So you can see it's got sort of rocky, crevicey edges. They're not smooth. I do have a geode coaster mold with smooth edges, but this one is the rock edge one, and it only comes in 6. So if you want this one, I will link it for you. But look at that effect. What do you think? So this is a hack, okay? Got to be truthful with you. I can't get the effect that I'm going for with cellophane. So my inspiration photo, I don't think it was real. Like, I don't think it was resin. And if you've been following me, you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyway, this is a hack and it's pretty easy, and I'm going to share the secret with you. Okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? But stay tuned to the rest of the video and I'll show you how I did it, because I'm going to do another. Actually, I'm going to do 2. All right, so here we go. Ready? I went to Mr. Google and I found an image of what I wanted, and I had it printed off. Look, I chose a size. Look, I just went to Officeworks and I printed them there. So this is a what is that, 12 centimeter or so. I think it's a 6 by 6 inch. So I got those, and I also got a bigger one. I printed a bigger one as well because I want to do like a tray. So all it's doing is expanding the image, really. So it's the same image, it's just, you know, expanded. So I'm going to use that another time. But today I'm going to use this one. Now, to get the size of what you need, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. The first time I did it, I just got a piece of plastic. I laid it over my whole mold, like a piece of plastic, and I got my marker and I went through and I just marked into the edges of the mold of the plastic, and then I cut it out. So I got that. It's not as easy, I guess, as pouring in a little bit of, this is that polyurethane resin, that, you know, the fast cure stuff. And I had a little bit left over and I thought, I'm just going to pour it in there, then that can be my template. So now I know that that's the top, it's not that side, it's this side, and that's aiming up. So now all I need to do is I need to work out where I want this to go. I like that little bit of purple there, so you just sort of move it until you find an area that you want, and then I'm just going to go around with my little piece. If you don't have the polyurethane resin, that's fine. You can just use a little bit of, you know, if you're doing a project and you've got a little bit of leftover resin, you probably only need an ounce or so. And then pour it into whichever coaster mold you're using. I will link that one for you if you want this one. And yeah, you just pour some in and then you'll have a template forever. So there's my line, and I'm going to cut just on the inside of that black line that I've just drawn. All the way around. Don't throw away your leftovers because I think they'd be really pretty in a little pendant mold. So don't throw them away. So yeah, that's what I did. What do you think? Don't hate me for cheating, but I could not get that effect. And seriously, I think that's how it was done on the original inspiration photos that I saw on Etsy. I honestly don't think they were resin or resin creations. This is going to be a resin base and a resin top, just with the photo inside. And you know, you can print off whatever images you want. If they're out there on Google, they're free for all. There are some companies that, you know, if you want to download images, you pay for them. But this one, I just found it online, so I'm going to use it. Okay, there we go. So there's my piece. There's my leftovers. You know, you could make really pretty cabochons and things with those leftover bits. So there we go. And there's one I prepared earlier. So I'm going to do, I can move those out of the way. I don't know that I'll do it exactly the same. This one I put some extra gold on the top. I don't know if you can see, I used, I'll talk about that later, but you can see that I've got some sort of shimmery gold on top. So you can either do that around the edges and on the top. Maybe I'll do one with and one without so we can just compare and see which one we like better. Okay, so that's the inspiration for today. So I'm going to just do, move that back a little bit. I'm just going to do two today, these two on the bottom. So there we go. So with this one that I did, I used the white polyurethane resin, but today I think I might use the black. I think the black might look better. Look, you're not going to see unless you go flip it over. You're not really going to see, but I think I'll just use the black today. All right, I have got this new black that I'm going to use today. I've used it once before and it cures much faster than the previous one that I was using. Smooth on. So I'm just going to do one at a time because I don't think I'm going to have time to do two. So the bottle says shake really well. So we'll do, oops, okay, we've got 15. I didn't really want 15, but we'll go 15 of A and then, whoa, I'm going to take that up to 30. And the thing with the big mouthed jars are, as you can see, if you want to pour just a little bit, it just makes a big mess. I guess it's fine if you're pouring a lot, but if you just want a little bit, oh my gosh. Okay, that'll do. Oh, it's just, yeah, it's a mess. Look at that. Oh gosh. I like the other bottle better actually because it had a smaller mouth on it. So I don't think I'll get these again. I did buy these from Australia because I thought, you know, they'd be cheaper and cheaper to ship. But the other one, I guess, you gotta pay a little bit more, but then you get the better mouth, smaller mouth. And yeah, it doesn't cure up quite so fast. I only used this once before and I'd poured it and I couldn't even finish it because it was so set. All right, that's it. I'm just doing like 15 seconds. I'll pour that out. I'm not going to use it all. Oh, all right, that's done. Now I'm just going to wait. Take these gloves off actually so I can pick up my sticker. And I put, you weren't watching, but I put a tiny little black dot there, and it's going to match up with that little bit of gold there, so that I know that I'm in the right spot. Otherwise I might struggle getting it in the right spot. Okay, so now just have to wait until this starts to cure a bit. I just thought I'd better just do one at a time, just in case it cured up really fast. It's not curing up quite as fast, actually. Maybe the first time I used it, I miscalculated or put the wrong amounts in. I could have. It just kind of flash cured on me. So I'm just basically waiting until, okay, so it's getting to that sticky stage now. Always cures faster in the middle, but I want to wait until it's firm enough for me to put the photo on, because if I put it on and then I try to level it and then the black kind of pours over the top, it'll be ruined. So, okay, yep, there we go, look, it's done. All right, so now that little black dot there with this little, okay, I'm only going to get one shot at this. Get it in the right spot, push it down, make sure your edges are down, because you don't want any air getting in there, you'll have bubbles. Okay, and then level. Oh, that's hot. Hot. Gosh, it does get hot very quickly. Feels like a bit of a dip there. Hopefully there's no air underneath it. Oh gosh, I've got my nail in it now. Just trying to make sure that I've got, I won't get so close, I just want to make sure that I've got it pushed down. Don't want to get any, that is, gosh, that's hot. I wonder if that'll take its temperature. 58 degrees. Wow. Hope it doesn't damage my mold. The other one I used, the other brand, it didn't cure so fast. Okay, so that's that done. Let's do it again. Let's do that again with another one. I need some gloves. Normally I reuse the gloves, but because I just had to get it off so quickly, I flipped it upside down. Now I can't use it again. Well, I could, but I'd have to blow it inside out, and then, yeah. It's probably not a good idea to do that, because sometimes you've got wet resin on your glove, and then you've turned it upside down and have blown into it. So, not a good idea. Alright, so that looks as if it's down. Now, the same thing with this one. I did a little black dot there, and I'm going to line it up with this little bit of gold there. So, hopefully that will fit in nicely. Alright, let's do this again. Keep this little bit of paper towel here in case it drips. So 15. I guess as the bottle empties a little bit, it wasn't too bad. As it sort of empties a little bit, it might be easier, but because it's full, it's a bit difficult to pour from. Right, 14. It. I like to reuse my sticks, but that one, that's no good. I can't reuse that one. Okay, let's have a look. So the little hand was on the 2. See how long this takes. Like the other one I could mix for a minute. This one I don't think I can mix that long, probably just until it starts feeling hot. It's good that it cures so fast, eh? If you don't have a polyurethane resin, okay, so that's 30 seconds. If you don't have a polyurethane resin, you can still do this technique. Just use, if you can, use your fastest curing resin that you have. and then wait until it's, you know, touch dry. You don't want to be trying to stick your photo in when it's still too wet. Pop that under there. Okay. Now we'll just wait. Oh, glove. Oh. Can I try and get them off? I'll try and get them off so I can use them again when I mix my clear resin. Oh, here we go. One. It's difficult getting gloves off though, isn't it? All right, two. Okay, I'll use those again. Now I need a toothpick. Okay, it's still liquidy. So we'll just wait. Doesn't take long. Happy with that. Hopefully it's good. Whoa, almost there. See, it's leaving a little point. Oh gosh, get down. Gosh. Right, I think I better do it. Let's put some isopropyl on that finger that touched it. All right, so the gold there to that little dot there, and hopefully we're good. I'll try and use this instead. That way I'm not risking getting my nails in it. So I'm just basically pushing the edge down because I don't want any bubbles, any air bubbles caught, and make sure that you try and smooth the surface, because if you've got a ripple in your photo you'll be able to notice that. Don't worry too much about your edges. We are going to cover the edges with gold. So if you've got a little bit of a gap there where you've cut your photo a little bit too small maybe, or you've spilt some of the black over the top like I have in a couple of little areas there, don't worry, because we are going to cover the edge with some gold anyway like that. So you're not going to see it. So don't worry too much. Just make sure that your paper is touching along the edge, okay? Otherwise you're going to get a bubble, because the next layer of clear will be able to get under the paper, and then yeah, you'll have bubbles. So just be really careful of that. Okay, that's it. Done. And I am going to get all this mess cleaned up because I've got black resin everywhere. Bring you in a little bit. And I'll mix up some resin because this is pretty much, it's cured now. So by the time I've mixed up my resin, put it into its bubble removing machine, this will be ready to go. So see you then. Alright, so I've mixed up my resin. I've gone with this one, the Let's Resin Fast Cure, because it's a thicker resin, and also I want to cure it fast because I want to move on to the next step. So I'm just going to pour it in pretty much to the top. Just need to leave a little allowance just to put some gold in, and I'm going to pop a little bit of resin just in here. Now don't need a lot, just so it spreads over and covers the base there, that's all. And we'll let these spread to the edges like so. So, oh, this one's fuller. I'll take a bit out. Okay, so they're pretty even. I mixed up, gosh, what did I do? think it was only, you'd think I'd remember, it was like 5 minutes ago. I didn't pay that much attention to it. I think it was like 50 grams of A and 45 grams of B, something like that. So yeah, don't need a lot. Now, because this is the top of the coaster, don't spray it with your isopropyl. I find that it leaves like a watermark or an oil slick mark, something like that. You torch very lightly, but if you've stuck your photo down well, you shouldn't be getting little bubbles from the side where the air's gone underneath and now is being released. Although there's a couple coming up there, so maybe I've got a tiny little bit there that's not stuck down properly, but that's okay. We'll just keep an eye on them. So for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to wait now, because I want the resin to thicken a little bit before we go on to the next stage. So if you, around the edge here, I've put some gold mica powder, and if you put it in too early, it'll just spread. You know how resin goes from the outside in, and it'll just spread and the whole thing will be covered with gold. So we're going to wait now until it has thickened a little bit. But I am going to just add some gold, and you can use whatever gold mica powder you want. I just think this one's got a nice sort of goldy shiny color, so I'm going to add that one. That's the Just Resin one. It looks more shiny on the top, but then once it's mixed in, it kind of, it loses that molten golden color. But I'll show you how to get that really shimmery look on top. I will show you. Okay, so that's that done. So I'm going to leave that about 10 minutes, maybe 15. I'm not sure. I'll come back and have a little check. But can you see hopefully you can see like a shimmer of gold on top, and we'll do that afterwards. So we'll just leave it like that for now, and put my timer on. What's the time now? 9:15. So I'll come back at about 10 and see if it's ready for the next step. Right, so it's been about 10 minutes and the resin is sort of getting a little bit sticky. It kind of makes a little point before it drops down again. There's a hair. So let's move on to the next step. So what I want to do, and you can see that when you pull that down like that, it's taking a while to close in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit on my stick, and I'm just going to kind of put it along the edge like that, just a little bit. And this is where you can get creative. You can do as much or as little as you want. If you've got a little bit of your background black or white or whatever color you've chosen, which is showing through, you can just make a little bit of a wider bit of gold to cover that. But I do like to have it a little bit sort of thicker in one area, thinner in another area, like so. But if you didn't wait until this got thick, then it would be all spreading and moving into the middle. Make it a little bit thicker just there. Now it doesn't matter if you're not touching the mold or you're not getting close enough, because we are going to do some gold edging anyway. So I'll do that on both of these. You don't have to. This is just my interpretation, but you don't have to do this. You could just finish off the coasters as they are. Totally fine. And this is why you don't want to fill your coaster mold up too much with the clear, because you just need to be able to allow for a little bit. It's not a lot of resin. Oh, sorry, it's not a lot of gold, but excuse me. But you do need to allow some space for it. And again, make it a little bit thicker on one side. A little bit thinner on another side. Put a bit more in there. All right, I think that's about it. Don't want to take too long at this stage because the resin will start to cure. I'm just going to use my heat gun just to warm this and just kind of blow it just a tiny bit. I don't want it to move a lot, but I just want to soften the edges. Just a tiny bit. If you blow it too much, it's going to heat up, and then, you know, you'll get like really wide. It'll start to spread again. So if you don't want that, then don't do too much blowing on it. So the next thing I want to do is do a few little gold lines. Now they need to be really, really thin, these little gold lines. I think I'll do them on both, and I've got a set. I'll have a set of 3. So I'm using the Pinata Rich Gold for this. And I'm going to do a little test first just to see if the resin is at the right sort of consistency. Because if it's, again, if the resin's too thin, then the gold is going to spread too much. So what I'm going to do is, while the resin is still a little bit on the sort of thinner side, I'm going to add a few drops to the top and let these just sort of spread a bit. Not everywhere, just a little bit along the edge. Some areas I'll put them a little bit closer together, and then other areas a little bit further apart, not onto the mold. And just give them a little bit of a zhuzh. Yeah, so they're not really spreading all that much because I guess the resin is starting to thicken and cure. Might actually be a good idea to put your gold on before you blow. I will have to give it another little blow though, just to help spread that gold out ever so slightly, just to warm it. See, I'll just do it on high. So just probably would have been a good idea to do it, actually, the gold before you blew. Then you only have to blow once. So anyway, there we go. So now what I want to do is I want to add my lines. So I'm going to pop, I've got a little plastic spoon here, and I'm just going to put a little squirt in there. Now, because it's alcohol ink, it is going to evaporate pretty quickly, so we do have to kind of work fast. I'm just going to dip my toothpick in there, and just going to quickly add a few little lines. See, that's perfect. I only want it thin like that. I'm not going to get very much out, just a really thin little amount like that. Where it first drops in, you might get a bigger sort of line, bigger kind of a blob like that, but you can easily just stretch it out. And I'm following the lines that are already there, like so. Just in the very top layer of resin. Now, because I'm dipping my toothpick into the resin, when it goes back into the alcohol ink here, it's sort of getting a little bit thicker, which is fine. Like so. Just you know, you can do as much or as little as you want, but I'm just sort of following the lines that are there. Try not to show a blob at the beginning. Now there's quite a big sort of thick area of gold here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more to mimic that. And I feel as if my resin's thickening. Actually, it's probably the edges here that are thickening because I've blown them with the heat gun, and that will make the resin hot, and that'll make the resin cure faster as well. So just keep going. The lines don't have to be really symmetrical. You can have, you know, some thick, some thin. I think I'm gonna have to add some more ink. And the resin's kind of, you can see the resin's kind of dragging a little bit now as I'm pulling the stick, so it must be getting thicker. So it's kind of a fine line. It's hot in my, well, it's summer in the moment in Queensland, Australia, so it is quite warm in the studio. So my resin will go off a bit faster. I've got a bit of a thicker area there, so I'm on purposely putting in slightly thicker little line there. And if you think it's too thick, just drag it. Just keep dragging it until you get the look that you want. But I actually quite like having it so, sort of a little bit thicker in some areas and then a little bit thinner in some other areas. I think it looks a bit more natural. But you don't want to blob like that, so you can just smooth that out. Now it's really hard to get carried away and do more than you should, so just be aware of that. Yeah, well, resin's starting to get quite thick. I'm going to move on to the next one just because I do want to add some to the other one as well, and I don't want to kind of miss my window of opportunity with the resin getting too thick. So I'm going to add a little bit more alcohol ink just to make that a little bit thinner. And here we go with the next one. That's the area there that's got a little bit sort of more gold in the photo, so we'll add a little bit more to that one and then thin that out. Whoops, yeah, my resin's getting quite sticky now, so we'll have to get a wriggle on here. Don't want my lines being too thick. Rather thinner than thicker. I'm going to use that and move it along here. There, I'm trying to follow the pattern that we've got. In the photo. And then when there's a tiny little bit of thicker gold in the photo, then I'll just add a little bit of thickness there as well with my alcohol ink, just to make it look a little bit more natural. You don't want the same size lines sort of everywhere. It'd be nice to have a little bit of thick and a little bit of thin, and just make it look more natural, hey? But yeah, it's getting quite sticky now. Just don't overdo it. And clean off your stick if you need to, rather than dipping it back into the ink. So that way you're not putting too much resin back into your little teaspoon. I'm just wiping it each time now. nearly done. I'm just going to do a little bit more up here. Okay, I think that's about it. A little bit more thickness just here. Just where that in the photo it's a little bit thicker. Okay, I think I'm going to have to leave that now. Just don't want to see an end, a blob, an end. Actually, this looks a bit weird just here, doesn't it? Where the three join. See what I mean? Like it's hard to stop, but the resin's getting quite sticky now. So if I don't stop now, I'm going to ruin it. So I am going to put it away. Last little torch. And it is done skis. Alrighty. Just clean off my little spoon here. Give it a squirt with some isopropyl. So what do you think? They're I think we've got 3 nicely matching pieces. It's just a little bit of a hole there, I think, where there must have been a bubble. But look, don't worry. See how there's little gaps there and there? Don't worry too much about that. What we're going to do is we're going to go in and add a bit of gold, but you could with a toothpick just pull those down towards the mold, the edge of the mold. Add a bit of a bubble there, that's why that's doing that. But you can see how the gold has spread over, and we don't want it to do that too much. So I would suggest, if you're going to be attempting this, and I would love for you guys to attempt it and show me on my Facebook page, Pouring Your Heart Out, put your gold mica on like I did, and then put your ink straight on and then blow. Just blow once. That way you're not disturbing the mica too much and you're not heating the resin too much, because it can flash cure if you heat it too much, and then you won't be able to maneuver or move your ink at all. So there we go. All right, I'll bring you down a little close up, and you can have a little look. See how I followed those lines, and there's some little thicker areas and some thinner areas. So try to follow them, and I haven't followed them. I didn't want to put too much in there. See that little line? You could put more in, but less is more sometimes. Get that little dot out. So that's it. Right, let's have a look sort of over the top. It's a little bit difficult to show you in this light because of all my ring lights, but you can see the gold shimmering on top, hopefully. So there you go, and there's the other one. I think there's a good little set of 3. I'm going to cover these with a net, and so the flies don't get in. Now you can see over here it looks really quite natural. See how that one just sort of goes down into nothingness? I think it helps with and here just into nothingness. I think that helps with that sort of more natural cracking look. All right, well anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I will take some nice photos for you. I will come back to you because we've got the edging to do still with our Deco color pen. Where are you? So I'll come back to you in about, I don't know, 6 hours I guess, and we'll pop them out and do the edging, and I'll show you how to do that. Right, they have cured, so let's get them out. A little bit of ink there on the edges. If you do have anything that's sort of on the edges there, you can just grab a nail file, an emery board, and just give it a very light little trim. If there's any, overflow or anything that shouldn't be there, just give it a very light little trim like that. Okay, and this one. So I will link my rock edge coaster mold for you. It's pretty unique. I don't think anyone else has ever done one. Yes, they've done geode, and like I said, I have got the 4 geode one if you prefer not to have the rock edge. but the rock edge just gives it that extra dimension and you know, real look, because it's got those, probably can't see, it's got the rocky edges. Anyway, that's it there. Put it out of the way for a minute and we'll work on these two. Felt something a bit rough there, so there they are. Look, they look really pretty. They do. I'll have to take them outside for you so that you can see that that gold shimmer. Now these two, it looks as if I've put a lot more of the alcohol ink around the outside. This one's only got a little bit. You can see there's a bit there, little bits there. It's sort of blown in. And then these ones have got a lot more, so I think I got a bit carried away when I was doing those. So I am going to use my Deco Colour pen. It's my favourite when it comes to, oops, maybe not that one. I just shook it and got gold everywhere. Shake it with the lid on, okay? Because the gold can just go spurting out everywhere. Alright, so we'll do one at a time. Oh, look, there's a drop there. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to colour. It's like being a child again and colouring in. We're going to colour in the sides. And if it starts to sort of run out, you can just push a little bit like that, and that'll get that gold to come back down. I do also have a copper one and a silver one and a rose gold one. I think I've got a rose gold one as well. But see, look at that. You can kind of see that rocky edge now. I won't bore you with me doing the whole thing. If there's a little bubble, you can just sort of push like that to get the colour into it. Yeah. So I'm going to do that all the way around, but what I'm also going to do, and I'll just zoom you in, I'm going to just go around the edge with my gold pen marker just along the edge there, because I like it to be a little bit on the top, and that just, I think it just finishes it off nicely. I try not to make it too thick. I like it to look a little bit sort of thinner like that. I'll do this one as well. Doesn't take too long. The edge of the coaster kind of gets stuck into that little bit of the nib there, so it stops it from moving. Now again, if you see a little area that's, you know, not quite coloured in, you could choose to make some areas a little bit sort of wider than others. Totally up to you, you know, with the look you're going for. It doesn't have to be totally symmetrical. If you want a little bit thicker here and a bit thinner there, then again, just do that. Make it your own. I think if you're going to do a thick area on some part, you kind of need to do a thick area on another part as well, so it looks as if that's what it's supposed to be, rather than having only one sort of wider area. So there we go. Alrighty, so that's them done. Zoom back again, and so yeah, I told you it was a cheats way. It was a cheats way. So look, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and you can, you know, find these same designs as I did, or you could find whatever image you like out there on the web. the World Wide Web and make yourself some gorgeous coasters. Just don't tell anyone the secret, okay? This secret's just between you and I. So don't tell anybody. Oh gosh. But anyway, alright. I'm going to have to move them into another light. There's a last little bit of sunshine on my bench here. I've only got this tiny little bit of sunshine. But yeah, there we go. Put that there. Look at that. Just stunning. I haven't coloured the sides of this one yet, but I will. So there they are. Just stunning. And nobody would know that it's not real opal in there. Now you could put some little bumpers, you know, those little silicone bumpers on the bottom. I think that would look really, really pretty as well. Just going to kind of want to set them up a little bit for you. Oh gosh. All right, there we go. Photo opportunity. Oh, love it. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed my little video. And there it is. Let me know what you think. All right, take care everyone. Hopefully I'll see you all again real soon for the next video. Okay, take care. Bye for now.